Hello and welcome to another Mrreeeee video. Now we'll be looking at comps and around Mythic Plus about what I bring, what I pick when I do my own key. Now we're going to start looking as the core, as a Resto Druid being the core of our video because of course we are a Resto Druid, but I'll talk about the difference when I'm tanking and how I make a comp. So really looking at Season 2, there's a lot of the new affixes, with the spells, looking at a lot of poisons that are coming out. They all affect of what you're going to pick. So I always start with my tank, and my tank of choice is always going to be the Paladin. I think the Paladin at the moment is brilliant to have as your main source. I think he's got a lot of mitigation. They're doing really the top tier at the moment. They've got a battle res, Dev Aura, the Sack, like Holy Word Sack is like so good at so many fights like Vortex, Pinnacle, where they can just add that extra mitigation. It can be done by Warrior with Intervene, but I think they're really good. They're Wogs. I just think you're building such a solid team with a prop paladin as your first pick. My second pick after prop paladin is actually probably going to be the Vengeance Demon Hunter, survivability wise, and then from there I'd probably pick a prop warrior and a guardian druid. I actually might put Brewmaster up higher. I feel like I've done a lot more keys with Brewmasters and they do insane amount of damage and a lot easier to heal. And I actually put Blood DK all the way down the bottom because Blood DK, where is this little? I very struggle to heal. I don't like healing Blood DKs. They're just painful. They're too yo-yo-y, and they just make it's such more of a brain sweat when I'm healing a Blood DK. So I'd probably pick first, yeah, Pally, and then I like Brewmaster. I think they're easy to heal. I mean, I want tanks that I don't have to heal. I then go Vengeance Demon Hunters. I think they kind of float between Blood and in the same spectre. They're a bit up and down, but with the new changes, I feel like they do a lot of damage. Guardian Druids are interesting. I think first of all, if I'm Resto Druid, I don't like double Druid. So I think they're worth looking at because of the new damage they do and the new changes, and they have been done in high keys. But if I'm playing a Restoration Druid, I don't want to go double verse. I think when I'm looking at comps, I want to make sure I have a variety of different buffs for the team. I've already got battle res, so I really don't pick Guardian Druids. I actually don't pick Blood DKs. I really work at these four, and I would pick these two first, and then work down. Okay, so if I've got my Protection Paladin now I'm looking at DPS. So top picks for me, looking at DPS, is I don't mind Hunters. I think Hunters are definitely worth a pick. I don't mind having some sort of mage. I prefer Arcane mages over Frost and Fire. I have a friend, Caldy's insane at Arcane. I just think they're a better class, but there are some that are useful. I also I'm not a big fan of Warlocks. They're probably at C. Like, they're okay. I don't really like to pick a Warlock. I like the Hellstone's Gate, and they're easy to heal. I'm definitely all about Rogues. Love Rogues. They have high survivability, high damage. Not really big on Warriors. I don't mind Vengeance. Like, this is where I start to comp. So if I'm gonna go for a rogue, so I've got a big rogue in my group, I want to balance them out. So I'm gonna look for really a Windwalker. That's probably the first thing that I'm gonna look for to suit. Okay, I've got an Outlaw. I want to up his damage, so I'm gonna go to Windwalker. All right, and now I need a Lust. Okay, I'm missing. I can either get a Lust. I'm not gonna Lust heal, so I'm looking for a Lust here to make out my comp. All right, so I'm probably going to pick up a Mage or an Evoker here in this comp so that I have Lust or a Shaman. I might actually pick Shaman. Enhancement Shaman. That would be my comp. I think a full melee comp there, I think is brilliant because as a Resto Druid with your Verdancy procs and your Efflorescence and Spring Blossoms, it's so much easier as a group. So that's probably what my first ideal comp would be. Okay, I'm going to build around that melee. I've got the melee buff from Windwalker. Got a battle res and a lust. I always have to have a lust. So it's then shifting my lust classes. Am I going to go devastation? Am I going to go who's my other lust? Or a mage? Okay, they're my three. Sitting there and go, okay, I'm going to pick them up. Other choices here. So say I don't have a prot paladin and I do get a Vengeance Demon Hunter as my tank. This is now going to be more of the Vengeance gives a magic buff, so I'm more inclined to pick up maybe a Dev Evoker here. I'm more inclined to pick up a second Arcane Mage, and then I might end up with a Rogue here or someone that has that melee mitigation. I need that melee. I have to have a melee. I prefer all the time to have really two melee classes. You know, I really want to have that ability to CC control and interrupt. I don't like having double range that much. But if I had a vengeance, I'd be looking, okay, I want more magic damage. I'm going to pick up magic casters. Classes I really don't like. You know, I actually don't play much with warriors. I don't think they're. If I'm going to pick up a fury warrior, you know, I'd rather take a melee rogue. You know, I'd rather take a rep paladin. You know, I think the survivability and that these are much easier to heal than a warrior. I think on high keys, I don't know what it is, but ook. You know, like warriors just tend to die more. Like whatever it is, their abilities, their cooldowns when they're in a blade storm. You know, they have a battle shout, which is useful, and you do get the attack bonus. Like, and I think you can make some comps around that. But I really don't take much warriors into keys. I don't like. I'm looking for more survivability and damage, and I just don't pick warriors that much. I rarely take any of the DKs as DPS. Unholy and Frost, they're either underplayed or there's some blood DK trying to do damage. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take you. Devastation Evokers. I think Evokers, again, like, they. Dev Evokers, they do insane damage, and you can find some that do great, and I do like them, but they also, a lot of the time, die. You know, like, they do their flying breath and they kill themselves. And I'm not sold. I think it's a new class, and I haven't found the best players to play with on the Devastation Evoker. But they do give a Blade Dispel, which is quite useful. They do have a Lust if you need it. Like, that's what you're going to think about when you're picking your class. I guess my golden rules, the one thing is that I want to have Battle Res, a Lust, 2 melee, and a range. That's my focus. And then I look at the quality of player. The other sneak thing to look at here is your priest. I think the priest, if you can make your range a priest, like, you're in for a good time. Because priest is so valuable. They're not just high damage. Their mind soothe is so useful. Master spell is so useful. They have PI is so useful. And I think finding a good shadow priest can really change your comp as well. And looking, if you have a shadow priest, I want to play around that. You know, then you may go shadow priest into a demo warlock. Okay, and then I just need one more lust. I'm going to pick a melee enhancement shaman to round out my comp. Got a battle res, got the damage, I've got a PI and a warlock. I'm going to change the game here. You know, maybe if I'm going to go shadow and demo, swap my product to a vengeance here and play around the shadow class. I think priest is such a big win at the moment for class selection. I think that's if you can find a good priest, you're in for a good time. I think that's pretty much like how I play and build my comps. I BM hunters, guys, like, they're okay. Like, there's nothing. They don't bring anything, but they have a good last. You know, they can last. They do good damage. Survivability, yeah. I think good rule of thumb: hunters and warriors and shamans, even shamans, and who else is pretty yikes to heal? All ML and they're actually pretty yikes to heal. I think when you take stuff like Alderman and you're doing a 21, like when the bleed goes on one of these guys, when we dev can clear it, or a shaman might be in dwarf spec, even the hunter might be dwarf spec. But the idea here is they actually take a lot more damage. I don't know what is the male wearers, and they're better than cloth wearers. For some reason, they always take the damage, and I find them such a pain to heal. And I don't like taking multiple of these classes because of that fact. Oh, by the way, never take, again, if I'm playing Druid, I never take a Boomy. Yeah? Like, I don't take a Feral. Because I'm already a Druid. I'm bringing verse to the group. I don't need another verse bringer. B-res. The utility I have, we've already got that. So let's change. I've got Soothe, you know? Like, I always think rule of thumb too is they never double up on classes. That's just more the way I am. That's how I play. So I guess then, what happens if I'm not playing a Resto Druid? And I think, let's look at my Prot Warrior. So I'm currently using Prot Warrior at the moment. I liked him from last year. I don't think they're as good as last season, but I think the new changes with the 5% extra DR, they feel, you know, kind of tanky. I just don't think they have the damage as the other tanks. You know, okay. Now I got to choose what healer am I going to go. So I've got my Resto here. I've got my Preservation. I've got my Holy Priest, or my... where's my Priest Stiffs? Got my Holy Priest or my Disciplined Priest. I've got a Mistweaver. Got my Holy Paladin. Where's my Mistweaver? Windwalker, Brewmaster, Swift. Okay, and my Shaman as well. I've got some choices here. I mean, Being a druid, man, I'm always going to start with a druid pick. I do like my druids, but this is chance too. Well, now I can get holy and get master spell and PI. That's nice. Preservation has lust, and it has a lot of healing output. Holy paladin is interesting. I think holy paladin. I think holy paladin in general. I rarely take holy paladins to keys, and it's not because they're not a good class. I just think they're very hard to play, and over the years, the only good paladins are ones that have played it for years. Yeah, you can't pick it up and just play it. It's so finicky. There's times in like very slight situations. Think of Krogmore. We've got to hit the boss to generate to heal. Like it's hard. It's not as simple. And I think when you're making groups, when you're looking at people's IO, and some guy hasn't timed 18, but you're trying to push a 19. Do I take him? I wouldn't take a Holy Paladin. I'm only going to take a top tier Holy Paladin. Like, they may are up there in those 25s. Those guys are insane. You don't see new people coming in fresh and Holy Paladins. They're a hard class to heal, so I rarely take them. I'd be looking at Resto. I do the Shaman as well. I think Resto Shaman's coming up big again. I mean, I would probably take a Druid, Shaman. And then same with Mistweaver. Another weird, the fist weaving. You've got a lot of people who don't really understand how to play it. Am I going to bring him in? Probably not. I'm not going to take a Mistweaver. If he's a freak and he's got a huge IO, yeah, sure, of course. If anyone's got a freak IO, it's going to sway my decision. But I'm not going to be like, God, can't wait for a Mistweaver in my group. They need to be reworked. The style of play, the average player, pushing from 15s to 20 is like going to struggle on some mechanics because they're just not as easy as point and click as other heals. So I'd probably start with one of these three, and then we just work through again. Okay, if I've picked a Prez or a Resto, okay, well that means now I'm gonna have my Lust. I don't need to pick a Lust DPS here. I'm a warrior. I probably want to do a melee comp. Yeah, I'm always gonna look at melee. I'm gonna bring in a Windwalker if I can. Okay, I'm gonna give burst attack damage. So I'm going to bring in a Windwalker. I'm going to bring in probably a Rogue. I love myself a good Rogue. Get me a Rogue every day, And I might bring in one range here. I've got Lust. Do I have Battle Res? No. So I might pick up a Warlock here for Battle Res. I might swap my Rogue out for a Paladin. Now I have Battle Res. I don't need a Warlock. And I can pick up a new caster that I want. Okay. I'm going to pick up, who have I got here? I'll probably pick up a BM Hunter. Keep the melee Dream alive. Get that melee damage, that AD damage. I just think comp selection, is for experiences of players, and you're going to pick players, and you should be using radar to check people's stats. Like the argument of time is, take me, you can't go people's score since we have score. It's changed the game, but it has, and it's not like. I will queue up my war and join keys that are very under level, and I'll just do the content, and people wipe and have fun. But if I'm pushing 19, 20, I want to complete my key, of course I'm going to bring the guy who's timed to 19 of the key. Like, it's not, I don't need to give the other person a chance because there are people out there who want to do content, who want to do the 19, so I'm going to invite them. I think that's more, comps are somewhat important, but that's not going to time your key, right? At the end of the day, it's experienced players that are doing the best of their class. If you were going from 22s to 25 and you're pushing that, then this comp stuff will probably become more of an impact in your decision making and really min-maxing. Even then, some of the players would have multiple. If I'm a range player, I'm going to have multiple range players. If I'm a healer, I'm going to have multiple healing classes because every dungeon will probably benefit specifically for what that class can bring. Different affixes, like the affix with the two ghosts appear and you have to dispel them. Like, I'm probably going to run more of a comp that have dispels. To make it easier for me. I'm going to run a Shaman healer because their totem can remove it. Like, they're also going to affect your decisions, okay? You're going to think about certain boss fights, like if you think of Freehold with a shark guy, he's going to affect you because you don't want too many melee in that fight because you're all standing out and there's so much downtime. It's going to affect your lust time when you're going to lust in that fight. Like, I think you're going to have a base understanding of where you want your comp, and you're going to have your impressions of players, but at the end of the day, you're looking for good players. You're looking for players that have the experience in the dungeons. And then you're going to look for just making sure you have, I think, a Lust and a B-Res. I think comp doesn't really matter until you look at those higher keys. So I hope this video gives you a better understanding about selecting classes. And if you're a healer out there, a Resto Druid, or any healing class, what's my comp going to look like? I think hopefully this video gives you a better understanding of that. And hopefully you can see why I pick and how I got to 2800. But if you've got your own choices or your own thoughts, please give me comments, feedback, subscribe, be part of this community. And I'd love to hear more of your side about what comp you would choose. So yeah, I've been Mrreeeee, and thanks for watching.